Hey, good morning. We are live and we are looking at the NQ December futures contract. This is the 5-minute chart. ATR on said 5-minute chart is 20, which is actually pretty damn good. We've been seeing around this time the last, I want to say like almost week. ATR at this time has been below 20, between like 14 and 17 and a half-ish. So, 20 here around 10 o'clock is a beautiful place to sit. So let's see what we can get here. We are 3 minutes, 50 seconds out from the close of this 5-minute bar. Looking at this chart, I would put this probably in this category. Right? I mean, I don't really think there's any other category you can put it in. So, I am thinking I'm hesitant of big breakout attempts, but willing to ride the wave if they do come. And right now, I would much prefer to find not any reason to get short, but find a reasonable reason to get short rather than trying to get long, though being the case that it is not some big bear trend, I am willing to take scalps to the long side. But right now, at least, if we're going to put on, unless something changes, of course, if we're going to put on maybe a slightly longer expected duration trade, it's going to be to the short side. Until and if something changes. All right, good morning, guys. How we doing? Scott, Vinny, Brandon, good to see you. Roy, Cass, One Eye, what's up, guys? Good morning. How we doing? Halfway through this 5-minute bar. And let's see what we get. A lot of hesitation here on these last 2 or 3 5-minute bars. Vinny, getting rid of jitters and sim. Yeah, listen, hey, if you this happens. If you get, the jitters, you're scared to enter, you don't trust yourself. Best way to do it is, A, go back to trading sim, but I mean, I get it. It's different. I think ultimately the very best way to do it is to trade small. Trade 1 micro. There is no ego here when you win in the end anyway. Okay, go back to trading 1 micro to keep the, real stakes emotion in the game so that you don't trade differently in sim, because a lot of people can trade really well in sim, and then they suck with a funded account or with real money. Trade 1 micro, size down, get rid of the jitters, get the confidence back, because confidence is the name of the game. If you do not feel like you're trading well, and you show up and you sit down, you're like, great, here comes another red day, I suck, size down. You're probably not going to trade well, almost certainly. All right, minute 10 out, let's see what we get. It's actually interesting. ATR seems to be creeping up, not a lot, but it's actually up a little bit. The bars here on the 5-minute are basically dojis, so we got to see if we can fix that. 30 seconds out here. And Bear's trying to put something together. This wick here is very telling. Where my cursor is. Okay, that's actually a tremendous close out of the Bears. Now there's a problem with that close, and that problem is that with all the bull bodies, relatively strong bull bodies, by the way, mixed in so far today, I mean, these are 5-minute bars. These are not 15-second bars. You know what I mean? 5 minutes is a long duration of time for the bulls to put together that strong of a bar. With those in the mix, I cannot look at that bear body that we just got and say, oh, duh, I need to get short, obviously. If it was the second consecutive bear body, I'd be thinking about it, and I might be in a position right now. But with that, I don't know. I mean, if you looked at me and said, "Hey, this bar is about to close. You have to do something." What's it gonna be at this point? Honestly, on this close into that, this is why I didn't take a trade. By the way, it's kind of a coin flip. It's like, well, I mean, you could get short and bet that it's gonna go a little further. I'd probably prefer to just buy using a limit, because you end up with this kind of thing. I mean, look, can you really expect any breakdown that, you know, is the first bear body in a sequence? This was a little bull doji. To go very far? Can you reasonably expect that to be the case? I think the answer is obviously no. So let's see what we get here. We need a little more information, and I would be happy, by the way, to short just a little higher in this little, you know, trading range. Any reasonable option to get short, and I'm gonna punch it, but I'm not jumping the gun. $245 out. Now, if we look at like the 1 minute, the 1 minute's a little weird. The 2 minute will oftentimes look quite clean if the 5 minute is reasonably clean. But I mean, you know, come on. Since basically this bar, the 2 minute there's not too much going on. Maybe, again, if you wanted to bet on the breakout, you could put a stop limit sell down beneath this wick. You wouldn't have gotten a fill anyway. So it is back to the 5 to see what we can put together. Chris, 143 bucks of drawdown left in my 50K Take Profit Trader Pro account. Well, Chris, the way I see it, you have 3 options. When you have a tiny bit of drawdown left, I get it, it sucks. Because you're like, what do you do? The account's basically gone. Well, you have 3 options. You can take another trade with the same size and just hope the probability on that single event trade happens to land on your side. And then you get a little bit more cushion, and hopefully you win the next 2 or 3 in a row, and now you're kind of back in the game. At least just being able to put on a little bit of risk takes the heat off a little bit. That's option A. But if you lose, it's just gone. If you take on any drawdown at all, it's gone. Option B is to size way the hell down and trade 1 micro. Which, you know, is not, you never really want to have to do that, because then every time you enter drawdown, you really draw out the amount of time it takes to get back. In a personal account too, this is a huge problem. I've always told my guys, if you put yourself in a situation where someday, if you go on a losing streak with your cash, that you're gonna have to size your position size down, that's a problem. You don't want to have to do that. If you are likely going to have to do that with a high degree of certainty at some point in the next few months, just based on the statistics, based on your win rate, reward, or risk, you're trading too big. Right? In prop, though, you know, it's a little bit different because we have less room to work with, and that's okay. Well, those are the 2 options. I don't know why I said 3. I guess your third option is just a Hail Mary, but that's not really a great option. So you can try to save it, trade super small, or say, you know what? Opportunity cost is too big. Let's just trade normally. If I blow it, I blow it. And in the meantime, you work on a new test. All right, that's a decent little close out of the bulls, but still an inside close. So we got a new 5-minute bar here, 4 minutes, 23 seconds out. Let's see if the bulls can try to put something together here. And if the bulls can put something together, all of a sudden we have some potential to short the high of that range. All right, 3 minutes. How we doing so far today? You guys trading the range, making tons of money, or are we getting chopped up? Kind of a weird little range. I imagine a lot of people are having a little bit of trouble. Tom, good day. Good to hear it. All right, halfway through this 5-minute bar here again. ATR is 19. If we can close if the bulls can close this like above 810-ish, not really a hard line, but in that region, but within reason still, I actually am going to punch it short, use this curl to manage risk. I can make a lot of sense of that trade, actually. So let's see if we can. Now, again, it's a very strong bull sequence. I just don't buy it. You know, the bulls have given me zero reason to believe that this is going to be the breakout. Now, might it be? Sure. Maybe we get stopped. Fine. Take it on the chin like an adult. But I want to bet on the range right now. So let's see here. We're about a minute out. Come on now, bulls. All right, well, we're about 30 seconds out, and we have 2 consecutive bull bodies. We have a trading range, a small-ish kind of descending channel, but it's not too tight for me to make sense of that trade. So I'm going to have to get the copy trader engaged. 15 seconds. Can we see a... That's the wrong way, bulls. I want to see a bit more of a pop, close us a little bit higher, because I want to use this curl to manage risk. Let's see. Yeah, bulls, that's 5 points short. All right, we'll go next bar. No trade there for me. Four minutes, 50 seconds out. Okay, now over 3 minutes is a long time on this 5-minute bar, okay? But just to think ahead here, if we can see a small-ish bear body, all of a sudden that lets me use the last bar rather than this last bigger curl to manage risk. Now you'll say, well, it's below the 20 EMA. I get it, we can't have everything. You could use this up here to manage your risk, but then you're putting on, I mean, depending where this closes, what, 35 points of risk for how much actual potential downside? Half to a whole ATR? It's a little ridiculous, right? So I'd prefer to just suck it up and say, yeah, I'll risk ahead of the 20 EMA, who gives a shit, and I'll risk this curl. And if we go up for another test to the 20, we'll get stopped and we can look for another entry. If need be, if we get it. 3 minutes out, let's see what we get. All right, minute 45 out, getting close. And bears are trying to put something together, so we may have a trade that we can put on here, more like a scalp. Let's see if we get it. Now, with this wick being down here, you have two options. I have two options. Do whatever you want. My two options are use a stop limit sell, of course, depending how this closes up, or just get short with a limit. Now, if I use a stop limit sell, what happens? Probability goes up a little bit. Reward to risk comes in a little bit. If I use a limit sell, what happens? Probability goes down a little bit. Reward to risk goes up a little bit. So it's just people ask, why sometimes do you use a limit? Why sometimes do you use a stop limit? Well, I think it depends on a strong continuation. I'm going to use a stop limit most of the time. But a trade like this, you have an option. Discretionary call. So here with that sizable wick, we may just use a limit. Let's see. Okay, 18 seconds out. Got to get the copy trader ready to rock here. With these two consecutive bull bodies, rejecting off of what I see as kind of a descending channel right ahead of that 20 EMA, and now this small-ish bear body, we can make sense. Punching that to the short side, limit sell out, and we will get a fill. We'll suck risk up. We will just risk this recent curl, which makes our life extraordinarily easy, and we are now sitting short. Risk on this trade, offloaded to the computer, ATR 18. Let's see if the bears can give us a nice, decent little continuation to the downside here. Decent work, bears. Let's keep that moving. take another run at it here. Looking to get at least a half an ATR. I'd ideally like to do a little better than that. There we go, Bears. Another run at it here. There we go, Bears. Keep that pushing. Boom, that is, ooh, what did we get? Did we get 10 or 9.5? I don't know. Either way, we did pretty much a little better than half an ATR on that scalp. Good way to start the day. Let's move on. All right, that is trade number 1 on the day. Small scalp. That was like 1,500 bucks. All right, less than 3 minutes out on this 5-minute bar. Just keep it moving. Yeah, Deity, email me. Only business stuff there goes to that email. It's in the description. But you gotta show me what you can do. A lot of times editors reach out and then they're like asking me to do work to get them, you know, stuff. But you gotta show me. You gotta edit some of my stuff. Show me what you can do with my stuff. And I'll pay you very well if you're good. 60 seconds out. All right, this is the second consecutive bear body, but I am now not sold at all on bear breakouts until we get one that is obviously clearly the case. Yet I'm still a little more interested in getting short than I am to the long side, but not down here. Beautiful bear body. Right in the low end of that range. All right, 2 minutes, 50 seconds out. Bull's trying to take this baby back upside now. A small bull body, and all of a sudden, we have a repeat of the last trade, but flipped to the long side. So let's see if we can keep this bull body clean and small. Too big, we start getting much, much closer to the top half of that range, which I'm not into. In that top half, I'm looking to short, not get long. Two minutes. The bears are just stepping right in. I'm less and less into it now. That bull body popped a little too big, got wicked down immediately. So at this point, I'm starting to think, all right, well, I'm really more interested in getting short than anything. The problem down here is I'm just, we could take a short and just be a little early and risk this range continuing, which means the bulls eventually take it up somewhere up here. Which right now I don't think I'm willing to step ahead of that risk. So I'd like to see a little bull pop and then get short like we just did. Any reasonable reason to do so, and we're getting short. Okay, so by the way, Apex 80% off is now done. It's now only 50% off, which I have bought accounts at 50% off. It's still very reasonable, but 80 is of course better. So the best deal right now is definitely Take Profit Trader, which with code BIG, it's B-I-G, is 40% off and no activation fee, which is tremendous. But since Apex is not running one of their better deals right now, I will do a giveaway. We'll give away an Apex account, an eval, any size, 25K all the way up to 300K if you'd like, at 250 likes. If we hit that, which we got time. All right, 3 minutes, 15 seconds out. The Bears are definitely stepping in. Being a bull right now is I imagine, quite frustrating. All right. 2 minutes, 17 seconds out. Again, right now, I'm looking for any reasonable way to get short. The issue is there's bull pressure down here. We put in basically what was a bull doji, so very small bull body on that last bar. But this bar seems to be struggling in either direction. So let's see. I'd love to see. I don't really care which side. I just love to see a side pick a direction. You have the other side lay down for a second, and we can close this body up as a more definitive bar. That gives us a lot more options. Okay, we're 40 seconds out. Let's see how this bear body, if it stays a bear body, closes up. Again, if you're just joining us here, we are looking at the December NQ futures contract, and this is the 5-minute chart. See that? Inside close by what? One tick? One tick. Inside close on that last bear body. So this next bar becomes very important to me, because if we can see this turn into a clean medium to medium large bear body that closes near its low, well, for me that's a reasonable enough reason to get short. So let's see if they can do it. Four minutes. Come on, Bears, get this done. There we go, Bears. That's good to see. Finally, we are getting a little bit of a decision here. Now, I have to wait for the bar to close, because I want 3.5 minutes more of volume sample size to see, you know, does this just come back? Oops. Hold up. All right, we're good. Does this come back right into play? It might. It very well might. Let's see. But if it doesn't, and this bear body stays reasonable, stop growing. Do not get 55 points tall. Oh, Jesus, Bears. Bears. Now they do it to them. All right, let's see. Now, the bigger that bar gets, the reason I care is because it gets a little tougher to manage risk. Because I want to use the bar itself to manage my risk. And with ATR at 21, if that bar turns into a 45-point tall bar, the math ain't really working as well. Halfway through this bar, let's see what we get. 2.5 minutes out. There you go, Bears. Hold that right there. And I gotta tell you, I do think being at the low of day, I would probably opt to use a stop limit sell over just a straight up limit order. It depends how big that wick is. If the wick's a little bigger, I'd probably use a regular limit. If it's small or non-existent, we'll use a stop limit sell. So let's see here. All right, Bears. This may call for me. We gotta see. I really don't want this thing closing beneath 720. But I don't want it wicking up too much either. This is a balancing act, at least for me to get a proper entry. But it might be time for me to put on some risk here, which is good. I like being able to put on some risk. All right, we're 25 seconds out, so let's do it. Let's get the copy trader engaged. We have this big old bear body, 15 seconds. If we can close this right at this balance, not too deep, so the bar gets too big, but not too big of a wick back. And all of a sudden, we are putting this guy, which is a stop limit sell, to use. And I'll place him right there, because I want to see, because we're at low a day. So I do not want to get filled short unless the bears can actually prove to me that they're going to take out low of day again on this new bear, on this new body, on this new bar. And we give that 30 seconds total since we're on the 5-minute chart. So the bears have 10 seconds to put it together here. Ooh, bears. Gotta pull it. No trade. No trade. Man, they couldn't do it. What a bear body to fail to break in the first 30 seconds on. Now they're going to do it. But that's all right. Past 30 seconds for me, that's a rule break. I want quick resolution out of these trades. Right? It's got to do what I want fast. Otherwise, why do I want to be involved? It's kind of changed, right? At least to get a fill. Now, when you're in the trade, you take it bar by bar, things slow down a little bit. But that's too bad, man. All right, we'll go next bar. 3 minutes, 55 seconds out. All right, back in 2 minutes. Coffee time, be right back. All right, welcome back. And this bar is pretty damn wicky. There is nothing I can do in good conscience there. Nothing at all. So we'll go next bar here, 455 out. At this point here, I don't want to say I'm looking for any excuse at all to go short, because that would be not true. But I'm looking for any excuse on a decent bear body to go short. So we're halfway to any excuse at all. Bull bodies, yeah, depend on the look. So let's see here, 4 minutes, and we might have trade number 2 of the day on. Javaz? Appreciate you saying so, brother. So you trade bar by bar, 5 minutes for a 20-point profit? No, I trade the 5 minute, the 2 minute, sometimes the 1 minute we'll put on. And the profit take is very dependent on the setup. Big continuation setup, especially a reversal continuation setup. I might go 2-to-1 reward to risk. If risk is 30 points in a volatile environment, we might be looking at a 60-point take profit. Otherwise, we might be looking to take 7 points if volatility is down and I'm scalping inside of a range for half an ATR. So, yeah, I mean, saying I scalp for such and such points would be a lie and a tremendous oversimplification. But any of you guys who've been watching the videos and the stream for, you know, a few days, if not a week, you get it. You get what we're doing here. Context is very important in this game. And very undersold. Because it's boring. It's can't really teach context. You just need to watch bars. and think about it. It's hard to sell context. Which I think is why it doesn't get talked about. You can sell setups all day long. Setups are the other half of the equation. But it's not everything. Without context, they don't mean anything. If you take a bear continuation setup in a range market, really think that's going to work very well? At least over a big sample size of trades? Of course not. Big old bear body, minute 20 out. And this is looking like about a 40-point bear body thus far. It's pretty damn big. Any bigger, it gets tough to manage risk. Let's see here, 66 seconds out. Well, I mean, we can put on some risk. Now remember, we're copy trading. So, we are 20 seconds out. Copy trader is engaged, and this is a big bear body. But ATR is coming upside. We're now at almost 25 here on the ATR. So, it's time to put on some risk. Stop limit sell. Engaged, ready to rock. Place that guy just below the wick low, that previous bar. We'll give it 30 seconds. See if we get a fill. And then we'll suck our protective stop out to risk the signal body. Suck our take profit down. This is all only if we get a fill in the first 30 seconds here of this bar. So we have 15 seconds left to get that done. We got teased on the last setup. No fill. Let's see if we get it this time. And if we do get a fill, we will suck out those protective orders and then take it bar by bar. 3 seconds. Oh my goodness! Last second fill. Get these out. Get these out. We got a last second fill. That was kind of nuts, huh? There we go. All right, ATR 23.7. Now we're taking this bar by bar, and we've got some risk on. So this trade might take a little bit longer. Ideally, always, of course, things happen a little bit more quickly, but based on the volatility, the risk we're putting on, and the look here, this is likely to be a little bit longer than a traditional scalp. So let's see here. Bull's trying to bounce this baby back up. We've got some risk on. Now remember, I'm copy trading across a whole bunch of accounts. Okay, so that is the total open P&L, always, which is always what you see, across all the accounts. So I'm not trading particularly big in any one account. All right, Bears. Continue this little, what's trying to break out, and has, really, into a more aggressive bear trend. Let's see it. Let's see it. ATR heading up back toward 25. All right, and I will put this at 1-to-1, which is there. That is 1-to-1 on the reward to risk. Now, we'll still take it bar by bar as far as managing risk, but as far as profit take, you better relieve it, baby. It's offloaded to the computer. It is offloaded to the computer, so let's see what we get. See if the Bears can get a little more done here. All right, Bears, let's do it to them. This could be a bit of a bigger trade. Now again, we've got both side protective orders out, protective stop out, take profit out, offload to the computer on the take profit side, risk management, bar by bar, depending on the look. It would need to be the way that I manage that early, if necessary, which I don't need to, but I'd like the opportunity to do so if we get it. Is if we do get a setup that I would look at and say, you know, I would take this to the long side, which would most likely require at least a few more bars. That's when I punch out early, cut the loser before the protective stop. But the risk we've got out there, I am totally cool with putting on for this setup. This is a really good setup for me. You might say, selling low of day. You're damn straight selling low of day. I love it. All right, new 5-minute bar coming out here in 7 seconds. See if the Bears can continue this baby down. All right, Bears, decent little start. Whole lot more work to do. Let's keep that baby pushing. Decent, ATR 25. All right, Bears. Respect. A lot more work to do. All right, 2 minutes, 17 seconds left here on this 5-minute bar. Now, what do you guys think? In the comments here. How we doing on this trade? I know some of you are like, oh, bro, you're so cooked, you don't even know it. I like this trade a lot. Honestly, regardless of outcome, for me, this is one of my top performers right here, regardless of the outcome of this one individual event. So at this point, it's a wait and see kind of game. Yeah, bar by bar, sure, but it would take quite the sequence for me to manage early, bar by bar. But I'll do it if need be. All right, well, about halfway. There's the checkpoint right there. Grab some gas, pop inside, grab a drink. Let's shoot for the other half. All right, Bears. Not bad. Let's keep that moving here. All right. New 5-minute bar. That is a beautiful close out of the Bears. You gotta love to see it. Gotta love to see it. Now, if I were sitting flat, I would most likely have a stop limit sell sitting one tick beneath the wick of that bar that just closed. So can the Bears take out that low? That is the question right now. And you'd love if they could. Get that done, Bears. There we go. There we go. You don't mind seeing that. All right, Bears. A bit harder push would be tremendous right now. Because you guys know me by now. If you think there's a chance in hell that I'm pulling this because, oh God, what if it turns around? You're tripping. Not a chance that's happening. Nope. Nope. I learned my lesson a very long time ago that protecting the way you feel is a very quick way to get the same result every other trader on earth gets, which is to lose, which is more painful than having a single trade turn around and stop you out, I promise. I promise. So, let's see here. Bears, a little extra would be beauty. Here's the test. Well, no test, the test of my imaginary take profit here. That no one about me but me cares about. Let's see. Bears, take it through. Beauty. That is take profit there. Good trade. All right, on to the next. Move on. Two minutes out from the close here of this 5-minute bar. Quite a pusher out of the Bears, you know. Love to see it. What are you guys doing? Hey, can I give an account away yet? No, not yet. We're getting close. I passed 3 Apex accounts in 2 days. Do I have to trade 7 days? Wiggins, were these just Apex evals? If you used code BIG or another code, the answer is no. You can pass them as quickly as you'd like. Now in the Apex funded accounts to request a payout, you got to trade 8 days. But the evals, you can pass them as fast as you want. If you passed Apex evals on that trade or on any trade here today, shut it down. There's no benefit of continuing to trade the evals, at least at Apex, because there's no time frame that you have to trade to pass. All right. That was a essentially very small bull doji, basically. So we've got 4 minutes, 43 seconds left on this 5 minute. Let's see what we get out of this next bar. Okay, 3 minutes out here. Now, question, what do you guys think? Is that push done? Is that push over, or we got room to go? I hit my target. That doesn't mean it's necessarily over, obviously. It doesn't mean I think it's over. I think what the price action tells me to think. Zero bias whatsoever otherwise. I do not care. If this thing wants to fall 4,000 points today, baby, I'll trade it all the way down. All right, Bulls trying to step in. If they can create a little reversion sequence, oh man, that starts to turn into a setup. Now the question is, you know, you have a weak, tiny little bull body. Is one small bull body enough to punch it long for a scalp? Not a swing, but a scalp. Yeah, it is. It is. And then it becomes a discretionary call. Because that was a hell of a push out of the Bears. Hell of a push. So let's see what we get here. 55 seconds. By the way, guys, at 250 likes, I will give away an Apex account, any size, 25K, 300K, whatever you want. Whoever wins, whatever you want. And that's because Apex is currently 50% off. They're not running their best deal. The best deal right now is Take Profit Trader, which is 40% off, no activation fee with code BIG, which is a hell of a deal. Daily payouts over there, tremendous. All right, we got to see here. That's a small bull body. You know, I like the setup, but after this bear push, I'm going to give it one more bar. If we get another bull body, then I'll punch it long. Right now, I want more information. Roy says, I think 25% retracement, then sideways range. Yeah, you know what? It's a good take. It's a very good take. I think Roy might just end up being right. I'm not going to trade off it unless the price action tells us to do so, but let's see here. The bulls are trying to step in. Bear is losing some steam. Adam, just curious, what's the moving average you're using? I'm using, this is a 5-minute chart, and I'm using the 20 EMA just because it's popular. You could throw up a 10, you could throw up a 50, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. I put it up so we don't get dizzy, so we know what we're looking at. You could throw up volume weighted average price, whatever you want. I don't use it enough for it really to matter that much, but if I'm going to have a line on my chart, because I hate sloppy charts, they just ruin everything. They confuse the hell out of me, and you, without even realizing it, probably. If you're trading price action, you need the candles, that's it. But I throw up the 20 EMA because it's a popular one on the 5-minute chart, really, only, because the 5-minute is so popular that the 20 EMA is popular on it by default. But, you know, would I trade a 3-minute chart and use a 17 exponential moving average and be like, this thing means a lot? I'm going to get long because we're testing the 17. What the fuck? No. No, that doesn't mean anything. 2 minutes, 50 seconds out. It only means something if people are paying attention to it. Because then algorithms get programmed to pay attention to it because it turns into what? Can anybody tell me what it turns into when it has eyeballs? Will. My guy. No, wrong person. My guy, self-fulfilling prophecy, that's right. All right, minute 47 out. Decent little setup. Smaller bull body thus far. I'd prefer if it stayed that way. I like where it is. I don't want it to grow too much more. We have a whole lot of, you know, I don't like to play the whole, like, cushion game. Like, oh, I have a lot of cushion on the day, so now I can put on some risk. But, you know, I guess, I mean, it is a thing to consider. I just think that implies that the trades you're taking later in the day just because you have cushion are higher expected value, which they not necessarily are. All right, 45 seconds out. Good bull body. Currently above this wick, which I like. So let's see here. All right, 20 seconds out. Copy trader engaged, ready to roll. 15 seconds. We have a clean bull body after a 3 growing bull body sequence. Closing above this wick, driving up out of the hole. That is showing some bull strength. So, like it or not, I'm gonna have to place a stop limit buy. Punch that and see if we get a fill. I only want to get filled, and we will if the bulls can take it up through. Risk the signal bar, suck that up. And let's take a bar by bar, ATR 25. So a little bit of risk on this trade as well. Let's just see. Can we get a little bit of push here out of the bulls? And if not, if they take out the, if the bears meaning, they take out the low of that signal bar, we'll cut that baby, move on. Don't like to see that, bears. That's not what you like to see. That was a beautiful setup. What are you guys doing? That's right. Turn that shit around. ATR increasing. Good to see. 27. Very good to see that. Bulls give us a little bit of continuation. Now, by the way, for context, this here is certainly not a bet that this thing is going to go and skyrocket to 24,850. Not at all. Looking to see, you know, maybe... Well, let me think here. Yeah. An ATR or so would be tremendous. So let's see. Risk here, because we have a single signal bar that we're risking rather than a curl. Risk here is essentially offloaded to the computer unless we get an opportunity to manage early later on. So let's see. Three minutes, 5 seconds left on this 5-minute bar. Alright, bulls. There we go. Let's keep that moving. I like that attitude. A lot of work left to do here. Alright, bulls. Not bad. Decent little start. Full ATR would be great. Let's see. Less than 2 minutes on this 5-minute bar. All right, bulls, let's see us hold on a little bit to that strength. Let's see. Again, a lot of work to do here out of the bulls. "27 seconds left here on this 5-minute bar. Oh you bulls. Let's get pushing. All right, new 5-minute bar here. That's, you know, it's not the greatest close you could ever ask for. And still looking to get, ideally here, a full ATR. All right, ATR still sitting around 26, 27, which is a good indication of volatility here this time of day on the 5-minute chart. That's a very good thing to see. Now the question becomes, can these bulls get the job done for us? Bit slow here off the rip. All right, bulls. Now would be a tremendous time to get the job done here for us. A lot of work to do here. ATR 26. $35 seconds left here on this 5-minute. Now, it would have to be an entry that I would take to the short side for me to manage early, because I'm sitting long, right? It'd have to be an opposing setup, which this, as it sits right now, is not. Let's see if we get a last-second adjustment. Finger on the trigger, ready to cut early if we can. No, absolutely not. So, we leave it on. Decision-making, very easy, how I like it. All right, now we got to start thinking about that 20 EMA here on the 5 coming in. There's still plenty of room to give us our full ATR. So that's not an immediate concern, but I am keeping an eye on that. All right, Bulls. This would be a great time to not give the bears too much confidence that this is the top of a newly forming trading range. The quicker we can do what I want, which, you know, it's all about me here, the better. We're sitting right around break even here on the trade. And ATR still about 25.5, which is tremendous. ATR is not falling off a cliff, which would be a concern if it was, but it's not, which is good. All right, about a minute left here on this 5-minute bar. Let's see how it closes up. 40 seconds. All right, new bar. That's going to close barely in the money, which is quite the improvement over the way it was looking as far as closing on that 5-minute bar. But we are most certainly not even close to out of the woods. We have a whole lot of work to do out of the bulls on this trade yet. ATR now dipping a little bit, 23.6, still looking to get at least a full ATR. So it's important that that ATR stays as high as possible, ideally above 20, if it starts falling. All right, bulls, not bad. A lot of work yet. Okay. Average range here is sitting at 24. Still good. And we do have the 20 EMA in the way, but it is nothing more, nothing less than a self-fulfilling prophecy, so keep that in mind. Now, what we need the bulls to do is put to bed any idea that the market has here of turning this into a little trading range, at least for a period of time. Give us enough juice to hit a logical take profit that makes mathematical sense for me. Two minutes left here on this 5-minute bar. All right, 30 seconds left here on this 5-minute. Let's see if the bulls can grow a half-decent backbone and give us a full ATR push, which is what I need. All right, ATR now down to about 23, which is still, you know, it's all right. We've seen 23 in this trade already. Below 20, things start getting a little bit weird. But we'll take it as it comes here. Bar by bar, baby. All right, what do we think? Am I cooked? Am I cooked, or is this baby gonna give us our full ATR push? Assuming ATR stays above 20. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. All right, 3 minutes, 10 seconds left here on this 5-minute bar. Risk offloaded to the computer for now. If we do get the opportunity to manage early, of course, I'll take that. But that would require a very clear short setup that I would put on short if I were flat. All right, Bulls. Let's do it to them. All right, we're sideways, man. Okay, so the 20 EMA here on the 5 is a little more than a full ATR from my break-even point, which is still within reason. Now, it's never an exact level. It's just kind of an area, like 5 or 10 points, the EMA that is, that you know people and algorithms are going to be paying attention to. So if that EMA dipped and it was down at 703, the entire trade has changed. That would be a scenario where it's like we kind of just have to manage, do what we can, put an asterisk by this trade in the data and be like, this one got kind of weird, here's what happened. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So it's sit and wait and see if the bulls can play out the original idea that has yet to really break. Now, of course, on all these trades, you want them in your favor as quickly as possible, but that's an unreasonable ask to make on every single trade. That's never going to happen. So here we sit, man. We sit waiting for something to change or for a full ATR to hit. Okay, still 4 minutes left on this 5-minute bar. Lots of time here until we have a decision to make, depending how it closes up. But as far as right now, risk is, of course, offloaded to the server. All right, ATR 23. Keeping an eye on that. All right, so we're coming up. We are 29 minutes now into the trade, which is fine. My number one thought right now is, hey, let's watch how each bar closes up. There's a 5-minute chart again. And we do have to keep an eye on that 20, though it's not an exact science with the 20. I want to make sure there's a reasonable amount of room to, within reason, expect that we could see a full ATR push before, within reason, a self-fulfilling prophecy, big hang-up, far too early. So this has developed a lot while we're in the trade, absolutely sideways since entry. So we sit and we wait and we watch from the shadows. I know a lot of you guys right now are like, cut it, dude, cut it. I'm good, I'll do what I want. I will do what has served me well over the years, which is sit here and not be as emotional as you, and hold on to the trade, and whatever happens, I will live. I'm a big guy. Big boy. A 5'1" big boy. All right, 3 minutes, 16 seconds left here on this 5-minute bar. Oh, you bulls. A little resolution from either side right now would be pretty nice. All right, ATR about 21.5. Coming in, but still okay on the ATR. All right, and we will have to watch how this bar closes up. 2.5 minutes out. Two minutes. Okay, we're 55 seconds out here from the close of this 5-minute bar. Now, I would need to see a pretty definitive outside close. The problem here is that any outside close you can also make the range argument for. So the more definitive the outside close, the more likely, here in the next 30 seconds, the more likely I am to cut it. Kind of average those wicks together and just draw where it makes sense. And the less definitive that outside close, the less likely I am to cut it. So let's see here, 10 seconds. Let's see if we get the opportunity to cut it or not. Absolutely nothing, doji. Which means we leave it and we sit in wait in the shadows and see if the trade can turn around. Now that 20 EMA is starting to become more and more of an interesting thing. ATR is now down to 20, and let's see here. We're within the range around the 20 EMA, believe it or not, for it to still be okay. Reasonable, I think, is the wrong word because it's starting to get kind of tight, but the self-fulfilling prophecy of the EMA is never an exact level. It's always a range. Now, if that was 6 points away and ATR was 21 like it is, I'd say, okay, we got to just cut it and make a note in the data that this trade turned out to be a little bit weird. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting close. Let's see here. All right, Bulls. Not bad, but a whole lot of work to do here. ATR 21. Oh, you Bulls! Insecure? I mean, the Bears are insecure just as much. It's just, man, it's been 39 minutes. The original entry, it just hasn't broken. The idea, that is. And this is the scenarios where you end up in trades for, you know, a little. It's not like we're in this thing for 4 hours. You know what I mean? I don't want to complain too much. And this is by no means the longest trade we've had on stream. We've had many trades go over a full hour and end up working out big time. But 40 minutes here is certainly above the average. 15 seconds, and we'll get a new 5-minute bar. Let's see what we get. Well, closing right around break even here. And ATR, I'm sorry, the EMA starting to creep a little more slowly downside than it was, which is good. But the longer the trade takes, the weirder the look. So again, keeping an eye on that. HR 20. All right, Bulls. We're 3.5 minutes out on this 5-minute bar. And it would be very nice if the Bulls could get a little something together. Because ATR is 20. And we are... yeah, we're about 15.25 points from the EMA. So if we could get a little bit of something going here. then the range of the self-fulfilling prophecy rejection region that the bulls might try to step ahead of by that 20 EMA, which hurts me, gets wider when the volatility is a little bit higher. If it does this up into the EMA, the range in which that occurs gets a little tighter, at least within reasonable expectation, right? So, bulls, let's get something going, is what I'm trying to say. You sons of guns, get moving. And let's see if we can get a full ATR push. I want to see at least 20 points here. There we go, bulls. Keep that moving. All right, not bad. A lot more work to do coming into that 20 EMA, which is, not tremendous, but, workable. We can deal with this for now. Let's see. All right, not bad, bulls. Keep that moving. There's the test. I want to see my full ATR. I get it. We're coming into the 20, but I don't put that much weight on the 20 aside from it being a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, come on, bulls. Give me close to that full ATR, rounded to a number, a whole number. Usually I round it down, but I'm looking for maybe 21 and a half, if not 22 points. Little more of a punch through that 20, bulls. Come on now. All right, let's get a bigger push. Full ATR, punch out. Do we get a fill? Limit order's out. Limit order's out. Gotta let it work. See if we can get a fill. Come on, bulls. And we will, baby. We will get a fill for the full ATR after about 45 minutes in that trade. Gotta let it work, man. Don't break your rules out of emotion. Never. Never. Trade like an adult. I promise you, it's more painful. It's more painful to just be a losing trader than it is to have a trade like that, turn around, and you lose after 45 minutes. I promise. All right, let's move on. 4.5 minutes out on this new 5-minute bar. All right. Okay, so that's 3 trades so far today. 3 winners, which is good. Not that it really matters. Just take each trade, one good trade at a time, accept the outcome, move on like a grown-up. But hey, can I give away an account yet? Where are we at? Are we there? Let's see. Oh, you're damn straight we're there. You guys killed it. All right, let's give away an Apex account. Okay, so all right, giveaway time. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do our here. Let's make sure that we're set and ready to go, and we are. So we're gonna do it like we always do it, the same way a 3-year-old would, because it's fair and it's fun. And let's see here. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm giving away it's a code. So you know how you always use code BIG? You sons of guns, you better be. You know how you always use code BIG when you go to buy an account at Apex? Whoever wins, I will be sending you a code. I'll just do it on Discord private message. And that code lets you get any size eval you want at Apex. You just punch it in where you would normally put code BIG. And it says, cool, it's $0, which is crazy. So we're gonna give one of these away. And here's how we do it. So let's do it this way. I'll tell you what. You can enter up to 10 times in the chat. Okay, and I'll give you 2 minutes to enter. Okay, actually, let's do it this way. We have a little bit more people here today. You have 60 seconds, 1 minute to enter up to 10 times. Count. Please count. Do not enter 11, 55. It'll be kind of obvious, okay? So enter up to 10 times, and here's how you enter. When I say go, and not a lick before, in the chat, you will put the symbol of the futures contract that you primarily trade. If you're an NQ trader, you'll put NQ. And you'll write that up to 10 times within the 60 seconds, and not a second after I say stop, and not a second before I say go. Okay, if you trade, crude, you put the symbol for crude. You trade the E-mini, you put the symbol for the E-mini, ES, right? Okay, ready? Are we ready to rock? And then what we'll do is I'll cover my eyes like a 2-year-old and scroll, and we'll pick, and whoever wins gets a free account. Ready? Go! Up to 10 entries. Go right now. Oh, I'd love to see it. Whole bunch of MNQ traders. I love it. Leave the ego at the door and actually make some money, man. 30 seconds! That's it. Cut it. Done. That's it. That's it. I don't care if you didn't get 10. That is 60 seconds. You are done. That chat better slow down right now. That chat better slow down, baby. That's enough. Done. Gabriel, you son of a gun. I see that. I see what you're doing. Victor, you better cut that shit out, man. It's over. You guys are done entering. I'm not going to scroll down that far. And if you keep going, we're just going to disqualify you and boot you from every giveaway ever. All right, that's done. That's enough. Okay, so let's do it. You guys ready? Okay, I gotta scroll to the top. Hold up. All right, here we are at the top. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna scroll around for, I don't know, 15 seconds. And when I stop, whoever's name is highlighted, right? You can see on these green ones over here, it highlights anyway, right? That's who wins. Now, we have had it happen in the past. If it goes in between two people, I don't know, there you go, like that, and highlights no one, then we do what's called the golden bar, the golden candle. We have two people. We take bullish and bearish bets. Those people do. One agrees on a bullish bet, one agrees on a bearish bet. We go to the 1 minute chart, and the first full bar, whoever wins gets the account. But that only happens if we go in between two people. In most cases, whoever it highlights wins. All right, we ready? Gotta make sure it's working. All right, ready? All right, we're good. We're good. So we scroll around and we see. Man, fuck a bot. This is the way to do it, I think. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Sun, you are highlighted. Sun is the winner. Sun and Sons. MNQ Trader in the chat right now. Where are you at? You got a minute to show yourself and say, hey, fuck, man, I won. Sun, you are the winner. Show yourself, baby. Let's go. Where you at, big dog? He's here. All right, Sun, here's what you're going to do. My Discord, which is obviously free, is linked, if you're not already in it, in the description of the stream here. You're going to join that Discord. Once you're in, you're going to say, hey, it's Sun. I'm the winner. Where the fuck's my account? And then I'm going to add you as a friend, and we'll get you your code. Make sense? Do that as quickly as possible here. All right, beautiful. Okay, we are 42 seconds out from the close here of this 5-minute bar. All right, that is going to close right on top of the 20 here. All right, Sun, once you're in the Discord, say, hey, it's me. And I will add you as a friend. Yeah, son, right in the, hold up. Yeah, just write in the welcome channel, say, hey, it's Sun, and I'll add you. All right, 2.5 minutes out, by the way, on this 5-minute bar. Let's see what we get. We just end up hovering around this 20 EMA. Things get a little bit tricky. All right, son, hey, what's your Discord username? I'll just add you. All right, about 60 seconds out here. Now, what do you guys think? Are we stair-stepping higher? Or are we going to get glued to this 20? That becomes the question. All right, son. I just added you as a friend. Accept that. HR still sitting at 20. All right, son, I just sent you, just send me that, and then I'll send you the code right away. right, you guys think. What, you guys think we're going higher? Red to green, man. Oof. That'd be something to see. All right, son. There's your code, brother. Use it in good health. Awesome. Gotta love it. Now, do we just grind higher from here, man? Red to green. You guys, I don't know. We might be onto something. Let's see. All right, guys, hey, reminder, Take Profit Trader here is currently 40% off, no activation fee, which is the best deal of the day here at Take Profit Trader. They do daily payouts, tremendous firm, with code BIG, B-I-G, baby. So hit that up. And I'll tell you what, 3 trades, 3 winners. We're sitting up a healthy sum. And subscribe to the channel, guys. I will be live trading again here tomorrow morning. Gotta go hit lunch, and we'll see what the afternoon brings. Guys, stay patient. Let the setups come to you. If you're in a trade and nothing has changed, you have no reason to manage early, but you have no reason to take profit yet, let it work. Emotion always loses, and the level-headed trader with data to back them up always wins. You understand? Stay patient, let it come to you, and when it does, hit it hard, baby. See you in the morning. Subscribe.